What's up, everybody? It's your boy Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. Back with another live episode for you. Listen, got another good one for you today. Reports out of Bears Twitter. Brad Biggs reporting that quarterback Nathan Peterman and linebacker DeMarcus Gates have been bumped from the practice squad. What does that mean to Bears fans? It could mean that Justin Fields will likely not see the field tomorrow versus the New York Jets, or it could mean that the Bears are having a little bit of gamesmanship. Either way, we have to talk about the prospects of Justin Fields not playing tomorrow and also what that means to the Bears offense. And we're going to take a special look at offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. We're going to talk about Luke Getsy explicitly on today's show. So listen, as you come into the chat, do me a favor, run those likes up. Let's get the algorithm busting. We're going to talk about Luke Getsy and this offense and what it's possibly going to look like tomorrow. Y'all, I got some hot takes for you. So let's jump in here and let's get after it. Y'all know what happens next. Cue the intro.
Welcome to Chicago Bears 360. Keeping it a buck with Coach T.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I fill my teeth with diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future. We bear down.
And just like that, we're back. Here it is, Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T. Again, back with another live episode for you. We got about an hour and a half of Chicago Bears talk for you today. Listen, interesting. Chicago Bears face the New York Jets tomorrow. Possibly, may not see Justin Fields. Again, Brad Biggs is reporting that Nathan Peterman has been elevated from the practice squad along with some others. But the big news is whether or not Justin is going to play. So our hot topics for today, Coach T's topics, we're going to talk about Justin's health. All eyes on Luke Getsy, man. After, the whole Atlanta debacle and play calling, I think it's time for us to place some pressure and put some pressure on Luke Getsy in terms of his evolution, the evolution of this offense. A lot of people are making excuses for Luke Getsy. I'm not one of them anymore. I've been patient with him. I like Luke Getsy. I like what he's been doing in certain areas. I appreciate having, the growth and development, understanding that he has to grow as Justin grows. Like they have to kind of grow together and evolve together. But there's some specific things that I want to see from Luke Getsy over the next 6 or 7 weeks that's going to be critical going into next season that let me know he's the guy, right? So obviously Coach Flew is not going anywhere. GM Ryan Poles is not going anywhere for at least 3 or 4 years. It's time for us to put some pressure on these assistants. Same thing goes with Alan Williams. I think it's time for him to dial it up with little to no emphasis is little to no pressure, expectations for the rest of the season. It's time to have a conversation about these guys really letting all the tricks out of the bag, and they're not having to be a whole lot of, saving anything. They don't have to save anything. This is the opportunity for them to put themselves on display and show what they got in terms of tricks in the bag. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to go in the DM section to get some of you guys' comments. Do me a favor as you come in, run those likes up, hit the notification bell if you're watching this on the playback. Also subscribe. But before we get into that, y'all know I always got to give a shout out to all my field soldiers. Shout out to the field soldiers. Those of you who have liked, subscribed, and hit the notification bell. Some of you follow me on Twitter, Bears360 _ Coach T. We identify those that have subscribed to the channel as our field soldiers. So thank you for joining. Over 2,800 of you that have subscribed to the channel. Graphics don't want to act right today, but nonetheless, we're going to get after it still. No problem. So, first topic of conversation today, our boy Luke Getsy, man. Listen, a lot. I was at the game on last Sunday in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. By the way, man, after showing up at Mercedes-Benz Stadium and actually seeing it in person, right, and seeing, having a facility like that looks like, I have to say this. I was one of the people who were on the fence about the possibility of the Bears moving and having, a facility, moving to Arlington. I was still on the fence about that whole thing happening. But after going to 2 stadiums this year so far, one being Lambeau, right, and one being Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta, I have to say, after that experience, I'm all in favor of the Bears getting a facility in Arlington, an indoor facility, because the experience was crazy. And I had a chance to go to Green Bay earlier this year as well to go to a game. And let me say, Lambeau is just lipstick on the pig, right? It, has a great outside edifice, great brick and mortar placed in. Got modern day technology on the outside and scoreboards on the inside. But I'm going to tell you something that makes Lambeau ghetto. That's not the case in Atlanta. Those metal bleachers that they have, high school style with the numbers painted on the seats, are just trash. Absolutely trash, right? And it doesn't help that we don't like Green Bay anyway. But I'm going to tell you, if the Bears can just simply get a one-up, and I feel like to a great extent, the experience at Soldier Field is still a little bit better than Lambeau. But if we can put some extra sauce on it, if you will, and go ahead and get us a facility in Arlington that's state-of-the-art, indoor, I would like them to keep grass, though. This is the thing. I would like them to keep grass on the indoor facility, that we will have a leg up on the Packers and, a leg up on the Packers in terms of facilities, and we would be able to take and prepare this team to go to the next level. Also, the ability to host events, so on and so forth, with, other things going on in the city, Super Bowls, national championships in college, World Cups, whatever the case may be, to prepare the city to host something like that, or have Arlington, the stadium in Arlington, serve as the kind of the linchpin and start the ball rolling for some of those potential opportunities. I think they do NCAA tournaments in those indoor stadiums as well. To prep us for something like that, I think would be great. So that's my 2 cents on that. But yeah, the experience at Mercedes-Benz Stadium was first class. The prices were great in terms of food and concessions and stuff like that. So I look forward to the Bears coming back and playing here in Atlanta. Plenty more. But again, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. A lot of conversation this week about whether Justin should or should not play. Do me a favor. Let me know in the comments. Real fast whether you believe Justin should play or he shouldn't play, and then I'll give you my 2 cents in a minute. I will go ahead and say this, right? I thought the game plan in Atlanta was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I said this on another show. I think the show I did earlier with Braggsy, Greg Braggs from CHGO. I did. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But I think I said this earlier, right? I really believe that Luke Getsy overcoached the game, right? He overcoached the game. I said that before having the opportunity to go see what Trent Dilfer has to say in his review of Justin's performance on 670 The Score. So let me give you a quick shot of what Trent Dilfer has to say on 670 The Score, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. Mind you, I said this prior to this. I tweeted this prior to having a chance to see this, but I want you guys to get an opportunity to hear what Trent has to say.
What did you think of the play calling yesterday for Getsy?
Yeah, well, I didn't like it. I like him. Please differentiate the two. I really like him. I didn't like yesterday. I think all of us that call plays at whatever level fall into this trap. You get a new shiny toy that you really like, and you spend hours because, if we spend 48 hours game planning in high school, I'm guessing they're spending 60 hours game planning in the NFL. And you eat up you invest a lot. We call it expensive. It's, you invest a lot into the new shiny toy, and the new shiny toy is the quarterback-driven run game. Well, then you invest so much of that into game planning that it carries over into your practice plan. You only have so many plays you can script in a week for practice, and you end up wanting to put the stuff in that's really cool, new, sizzly, fun stuff. So you practice that all week, and you forget to run your toss play, 12 times during the week. You only run it 6, and you forget to run your outside zone play and your inside zone play, and you forget to run your counter play, and because you're running quarterback-driven runs, you don't pass, you don't throw it enough. Obviously, we've talked about that last week. They're not throwing it enough in practice. And what happens is this new shiny toy, this new thing, hijacks your game plan. You get in the game, and you feel like you have to call it because you practice it so much.
And there you have it. That's the take from Trent Dilfer on 670 The Score, talking about Justin Fields, talking about Luke Getsy and his game plan. A few things he said, man, that I totally agree with. I love this. I love the fact that 670 does this segment, right? Because I always look at film before I check out what they say. Usually I forget about this whole Trent Dilfer series on 670 Score, and I end up running into it during the week anyway. But a few things that he said, I hope I can remember all the points. So I didn't write them down. But one, he said that he liked Luke Getsy, but he didn't like the game plan. I feel the exact same way. I like certain aspects of Luke Getsy's system, right? I believe from a run concept standpoint, he has more depth in his system. He has more depth in his system from a run concept standpoint than Matt Nagy does. Way more depth. What we haven't seen is the level of balance in the passing game from Luke Getsy. We don't see the balance. We haven't seen the full repertoire of passing concepts. And I'm not talking about complex passing concepts. It's actually opposite of what people would think when I say what's missing from his passing game is not the complex stuff. It's not the, man beaters, cover 2 beaters, cover 3 beaters, the cloud coverage beaters. It's not the fancy stuff. What's missing from Luke's playbook to me is the basic KISS principle stuff. And when I say I believe he overcoached the game, is exactly what Trent said, right? You have another thing I love that Trent said, right? Whether it's high school or college, you have about 48 to 60 hours of game planning time before you have to come up with your practice scripts to begin practice to prepare for the week, right? So all my detractors out there that want to call me Pee-wee coach and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying, by all means, but you know what I'm saying, at least I know what I'm talking about in terms of game planning. And I like the fact that, one, Trent is a high school coach right now, currently. I coach high school ball, but he played in the NFL. So for those people that want to call high school coaching out as not being a level where you can gain expertise or you can have a take or be able to share your knowledge as it pertains to the NFL game, one, Trent even being on the show debunks that because he's sitting actually in his coach's office from a high school that he's coaching at. One, two, you have 48, he said, 48 in high school, 60 hours to prepare for NFL game plan. And I so identify with the 48 hours because basically when you play a game in high school on Friday night, you basically you have to get over it fast, and your game planning for the next game starts. You basically start on tomorrow, the next day, Saturday. You start seeing you review footage by yourself as the offensive coordinator on Saturday. You get your staff together and y'all review film together on Sunday, and you start seeing how you can attack a particular team. And then by Monday, school's back in, practice on Monday. You already have to distribute practice scripts for Monday. And you basically have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday's your walkthrough, game on Friday. The week goes by fast. And what Trent is talking about right there is Luke can't afford to waste time on his shiny new toy. He had to stick to his offense, and that's what Luke failed to do to me in the Atlanta game. He went away from his offense, right? And I said this when Bragsy was on the show. If I try to go into his head and trying to analyze what he was thinking was, with the offensive line being banged up and Khalil Herbert being out, Luke might have thought, hey, this is the way I manufacture additional running yards by using Justin this way, right? I can manufacture some additional rushing yards by using Justin this way. And I disagree with that. I say you don't change the standard of your offense or what your offense is to what the player's situation is. The standard is the standard. So if you run outside zone, inside zone, duo, fold, power, counter, jet sweep, toss sweep, those are staples of your offense, and those have been staples of his offense all season in the run game, then you continue to do that regardless of what the personnel is. Now, there's certain things that you might have to tweak, small things, but you don't make major adjustments the way that Luke did and go away from what your core identity is and call a totally different game, right? So we can't even talk about the Justin thing because we got here because Luke switched up his identity in the Atlanta game, and it's basically potentially going to cost us a quarterback for a game where we need as many reps as we can get with this quarterback. He needs to be on the field with these players as much as possible, gaining chemistry and experience on the field as much as possible. And I'm not even going to get into the emoticons, the unspokens about, why he needs to be on the field leading his team with 52 other men in the locker room who are also banged up, who are also injured, who are also getting shot up. So y'all know where I'm leaning in terms of whether he should play or not, right? I'm telling you, one game is not going to make a whole lot of difference. It's going to make difference in the terms of rest. Yeah, he'll be a little bit more rest and recovered, but he's still going to be banged up. He's still going to be banged up for the rest of the season, right? He's still going to be banged up in the rest of the season. But what you need to start doing as an offensive coordinator is you need to just run your offense, right? And he's going to have to do that anyway, regardless of whether Justin plays or not. He's going to have to go back to his true identity of his offense, run his outside zones, run his inside zones, run his counter plays, run his gap power plays, right? Run the toss sweep, like Trent said, 10 to 12 times a game, and get him going in terms of offense. And I forgot to share this. I jumped straight to the clip, but I want to also share what Trent had to say in the tweet, right? This might be exact. He said at some point the head coach has to say, bro, quit worrying about all the design runs and go up there on the Monday and be like, I want to see a triple catalog of passing. I want to see it thrown twice as much in practice. I want to see more than 30 throws in a game, and we'll deal with the rest, right? This is Trent Dilfer right here. This is a quote from Trent Dilfer. I couldn't disagree. I couldn't agree more, right? This is the part where Coach Eberflus has to do. You got to go up to Luke and say, look, listen, the season is over, right? The season is over. It's time for us to start throwing the ball over 30 times a game, right? And get your guy used to, you know what I'm saying, going through the progressions, read. And I'm telling you, also, the way you throw the ball in this situation, and where I'm going to lead into with the how-tos, because I'm being very critical of Luke Getsy right now. But y'all know here on this show, we go to next level, and I can't just sit here. I just don't sit here on this show and be critical. I at least have the skills to be able to show you how to make up the difference, right? How do you get it done, right? How do you get it done? So go up there, Luke, Flute, and tell him we throwing the ball over 30 times. Figure it out, right? And that's going to force Luke to pick apart all quadrants of the field. All quadrants of the field. And when I say all quadrants of the field, imagine drawing a tic-tac-toe board on the football field, and you want to attack all quadrants of the field in the passing game. Particularly for us, he wants to break out all his man and cover 3 beaters and cover 3 match beaters, right? So cover 3 match is a pseudo man coverage, but you want to break out. I want to see all your cover 3 and man beaters in a package attacking all quadrants of the field. I want you to draw it up. I want you to bring it to me so we can go over it together, and you can tell me why this should and why it wouldn't work. And if you need confidence, I'm going to help shore you up as a former defensive coordinator. I'm playing Flus in this scenario right here. But I'm going to help shore you up as a former defensive coordinator and give you some ideas of why this wouldn't work. That way, when you step out there on game day, you can call the game with confidence, and at least you and I have gone over to review the game plan, so you go out there with full confidence, and I'll let you know, hey, it's on me. We went over it together, and if it doesn't work out, listen, it's on me. I got your back, and we'll evolve together. But like I say, man, scared money don't make none. And we're betting with house money right now. We're playing with house money because we're not playing for a playoff contention or anything like that. So go out there and roll the dice and ball, Luke. That's the point that I want to make about that. And if that's the case, we wouldn't even be in this scenario. We wouldn't be in the situation, right? We would have, we would have not 100%. By the way, Justin hasn't been 100% for some time. So we would have a near 100% ready to go quarterback, and somebody's ready to play ball on tomorrow. So I said I don't just get into the criticism of Luke Getsy, but I already said what he needs to do in terms of his run game, right? Go back to your identity, stuff that he's been running. And this is why I say I like Luke, because the stuff that he's running, the concepts he's running in the run game, he understands them. He can continue to evolve those even more, But what he needs to pick up is on this right here. And I'm going to share something real fast. And me being critical of Luke Getsy's route tree, I put this out on Twitter the other day as a joke, but also half serious, right? This is the problem right here. The areas that you see, in red are areas he doesn't necessarily X'd off in areas he doesn't specialize in throwing. He hasn't featured those areas in his offense or throwing those routes in his offense, right? And these are timing routes. These are West Coast concepts and timing plays that would allow you, that act as almost a running game, to get you 4 yards here, 5 yards there. They allow you to stay on schedule, so you don't always have to run the ball and hand the ball off. But let's look at these route combination, right? So the dig, the outs, right? The hitches and the comebacks, right? And the slants, the timing routes that you can run that act as a pseudo running game to allow Justin to get the ball out, and he keeps the ball on schedule. And I can tell you on several instances, especially with our bigger wide receivers, those plays are there. Those plays are there. Teams are concerned about certain players blowing past them, so they're giving them 7 to 10 yards cushion in cover 3, right? Now, mind you, cover 3, the cornerbacks have to bail anyway. They have to bail and get to their outer third coverage, right? Their outer third deep third responsibility anyway. So they're bailing and they're trying to keep everything in front of them anyway. So why not run these? They're giving you this. They're giving you digs. They're giving you outs. They're giving you comebacks and hitches or curls or slants. They're giving you, and we have big body guys like Chase Claypool that can make these happen, right? They can make this happen. And I got an example right here for you. Here's a clear example on this play I'm finna show you right here. Right? So this is easy as this. Watch Clay at the top of the screen. Right? Get the ball into the big guy's hands. Right? Get the ball into the big guy's hands and let him run it for you, right? Let him run it. Let him get the play off. And get the ball into his hand real fast and let him get some yak, right? Top of the screen there, right? That's a hitch. That's a quick hitch. So I want you to go back to the route tree and imagine that's the hitch. That's this one, a comeback or a curl, comeback or a curl, right? That's the comeback or hitch. But imagine that in that same fashion, the dig and the out is there as well, depending on what side of the field you're on. But the digs and the outs are there as well. Same thing with the slant. Those plays are there. And if you run these about 10 to 12 times a game, right? They're like stealing. And the one thing, I can't pause this, but I'm going to play it again. One thing I want y'all to pay attention to, count the yardage and see where the cornerback is playing on this play, right? See where he's playing. My system is acting up on me. But see where the cornerback is playing on this, right? See how far he's playing off. But watch him on the snap of the ball. He's bailing, right? He's bailing, right? And if you can come back, if you can run those about 12 times a game, what it allows you to do is set up the deep move, set up the double move for later, right? So when they start jumping the quick route, then it helps you set up the double move and you go over the head for easy scores. And again, if you get 10 to 12 of those a game and your guy gets you 5 to 7 yards, that's another 50 to 70, between 50 and 100 yards passing per game. And it gets you over the 200-yard mark in terms of passing. You have like 250 games every game, and you're able to get something done in the passing game. So that's my criticism of Luke Getsy. And that's the how. That's the how. The deep concepts we know is there. The screens are there, right? Here's the other thing that I didn't mention. Also, if you go back and look at this play, count Justin's steps in his drop, right? So we're out of gun, but watch the steps in his drop. 1, 2, 3. Quick hitch up. 3-step drop, balls out. You don't have to worry about offensive linemen protecting the play. You don't have to worry about protection as much. 3-step drop and ball is out. 3-step drop, ball is out. 1, 2, 3, ball is out. You don't have to worry about your O-line holding up for, long periods of time, in that situation, in that scenario. So you help yourself by going 3-step drop, 3-step, and getting the ball out, 5, 7 yard gain, stealing. It's stealing. It's absolutely stealing. Luke, you have to run it. So that's my take on that. So y'all heard what I said about Justin Fields, right? I feel like he's going to be banged up regardless of the case, whether he plays or not, throughout the end of the season anyway. And to me, Chicago fans can't be like, you know what I'm saying? We can't try to handle Justin with kid gloves, right? Because we never had a quarterback, right? We want to handle him with kid gloves. We want to protect him and bring him back for the Green Bay game. Listen, he's going to get banged up in the Green Bay too. This is the thing that I haven't heard anybody say, and I'm going to say it, right? You have to take into consideration that there are 52 other guys in that locker room that Justin is leading, right, who have injuries as well, right? They have injuries as well. And you have to be mindful of the fact that when you're making a decision, right? This is, and I get it from an executive standpoint. You want to protect the asset, all this other stuff, and quarterback of the future, and all this other stuff about that. But here's the paradox. Here's the paradox here, right? You want guys to follow him, then there's 52 other guys in there that's getting shots and stuff as well. There's 52 other guys that's banged up as well, right? And I get it. Every player, you know what I'm saying, everybody's not treated the same. I totally get that aspect of it. But for a guy that's still somewhat of a rookie, that's getting himself in position to still becoming the player he's going to be and the undisputed leader of that franchise, his voice will resonate better in that locker room when he's putting it on the line the same way the other guys in that locker room is putting on the line. You don't want a Russell Wilson situation. You don't want a Zach Wilson situation when it comes to questioning the leadership of your quarterback. You don't want the perception of that you're a prima donna in that locker room and, you know what I'm saying, you get treated that much better than anybody else. Like you haven't won anything yet. You haven't done anything yet as it pertains to the league. And you're still proving to not just to that locker room, but to the league that you're that dude, that you're a dog, right? And so I say, hey, if it feels good enough, you know what I'm saying, on tomorrow, you get up, you take the daggum shot, and you go out there and you ball out. But the caveat is, if I'm Fluke, I put the pressure on Luke Getsy to keep the guy safe by throwing the ball 30 plus times a game off a 3-step drop. The responsibility is on Luke Getsy. I think fans are really more focused on us, Justin playing the same way and the same style and not playing. No, what we do is we say you have to lead your squad and you put the onus on the coordinator to do his job. Simple as that. The coordinator has to do his job. Don't play like that. That's not sustainable. So he needs to get used to it and prep these wide receivers and this O-line and these running backs who need to be better at pass protection, by the way, right? These O-linemen who need the reps at pass pro, by the way. These wide receivers that need the game reps with this particular quarterback. It's not going to help the Bears franchise as a football team to have Trevor Siemian out there with these wide receivers. It's not going to help them to have this O-line with Trevor Siemian because he's going to set up different than Justin. His steps are going to be different, quicker, shorter. His timing is going to be different. It's not Justin. These guys need to see their leader in front of them. He's going to go, I'm telling y'all, he's not going to miraculously heal between, this is not Madden. He's not going to miraculously heal between Jets week and Green Bay week. He's not going to heal any that much better or that much more between those 2 weeks. So let me jump real fast. I have my soapbox moment. Y'all see what I'm saying? It's a little bit different perspective than others, but hey, I'm okay with it. It's football. It's not soccer. It's football. I know we got the World Cup going on right now, but this is not that. But let me go to the DM section real quick, see what y'all talking about. Y'all know how we do it. We do it in the DMs. I ain't got my music on me today. What up, Jay Capone, man? Long time no see, brother. Long time no see. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you're doing well. Do me a favor. Run that like up. Let's get the algorithm busting. I'm not going to be on here for long. Hopefully not long-winded tonight. Inking said that's a good point. It's a little bit different, and I don't mind being different, Inking. But, yeah, he has to lead. He has to lead this squad, man. In every opportunity as a quarterback. Think about this. Think about the legends. I'll say this. Think about the legends. Think about the legends of this game. Think about the Brett Favres, right? And y'all know how we hate Green Bay and all this. So I know it's blasphemous that I mentioned Brett Favre as a legend. I'm not going to say the other guy, though. But even that guy played with a broken thumb the past 3 weeks. But think about Tom Brady. Think about Dan Marino. Think about John Elway. Think about the greats that played this game, the guys that won it, right? Think about the marathon mans, the guys that really cement themselves as the folklore guy, the folk heroes, right? Right? Think of outside of football. Think about who was it that ran back on the court in New York after suffering an injury and coming in and scoring a bunch of points, right? Think about Michael Jordan and the flu game, right? The legends of any sport, right, have the ability to go outside of that and make it happen, regardless of whether it's a playoff game, regular season game, right? Brett Favre's dad dies, and he goes out there to throw for $400 or something like that. Those things are the stuff of legend. So imagine what it would be like. Justin comes out, questions about injury all week. The Jets over their defense talking trash, and the coach talking trash. He's going to get hit. And he goes out and throws for 350 on them and rushes for another 80 to 100 and breaks all kinds of franchise records and whatnot. It would be the stuff of legend. And that's the stuff that you have to think about as a franchise quarterback. Now, I know it's not all on him, but I'm giving you a flip side of the coin that, hey, if you can't, we can't. And then also Chicago fans need to keep in mind too, right? We need to see something other than what we saw from Jay Cutler in that playoff game where, you know what I'm saying, where we feel like he tapped out, right? Where he tapped out of the game and didn't put it on the line for his team and deliver a Super Bowl for his team. We need to see something. This is Chicago, right? This is Chicago. We got to have a guy that's going to, I'm just saying. King says, the Jets D has been pretty good. No sense to take him out there and getting hurt in a game. If we win it, it wouldn't do anything. You're right. I'm not negating that at all, right? We're not winning anything. But if that's the case, he's going to be injured anyway. Sit him the rest of the season. Because he's going to get hit versus Green Bay. They're not going to take it easy on him. He's going to get hit versus Minnesota and Detroit and Buffalo and Philly. Nobody's going to take it easy on you. Nobody cares the fact that you're number one, you're Justin Fields. Nobody cares. Nobody's coming to save you, kid. Nobody's coming to save you. No, if it's not falling off, right? And mind you, Bears fans forget this. Justin played in a college playoff game with 2 cracked ribs, I believe it was, and some kind of dislocation of the hip and so on and so forth. I'm just saying. So the kid is built different. And I would like to see something. I would like to see, call me crazy, whatever. I don't care. I would like to see something. Let me jump on some of these other points. Let me see what I'm talking about here. I already talked about Luke Getsy, man. All eyes on you tomorrow, Luke, regardless of who plays in the game or not. All eyes are on Luke. Luke, you have to throw the ball 30-plus times a game. Now, I'm going to be pissed when he does it because I want to see him throw the ball 30 times a game with Justin in the game. And here's the thing that we need to be mindful of. And Bragsy agreed with me on this on a separate conversation off air earlier this week. If he throws the ball for 30 times a game with Trevor Siemian, and Trevor has better results because of volume, because Bears fans won't go into the stats and compare volume. Y'all know how our fan base is. It's toxic as hell. All he has to do is come out and have a better game than Justin had all season. And all the people that don't care for Justin anyway are going to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, Trevor is better. He's a better passer of the football. He's better this, he's better that. And we could potentially have a quarterback controversy on our hand because Luke decides with Trevor, I'm going to throw the ball 30 times a game, 40 times a game, 50 times a game, and he gets 300 yards off 50 throws. Well, that's like Allen Iverson shooting it 60 times a game and getting 30 points, right? And he's shooting 50% from the field, right? Half of them gonna hit the target, right? Half of them gonna hit the target. So I want y'all to be mindful of that before it happens, and be prepared for the toxic Barrett fan to be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Told you Justin couldn't throw the football. I told you he was just a running back playing quarterback. I told you this. I told you that. And then the version of us that don't want to see Justin succeed are gonna be talking trash, and we're gonna have potentially fan. Well, we're not much divided. We're not much joined now or in unison now, but we'll be more divided as a fan base if that happens. If that happens, I'm gonna be totally upset. I might turn the game off because I know what's coming. I know all the drama is gonna stir up potentially, and I just don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that because I feel like I know where some of it is coming from. I'm not going to put it all on that, but I know where some of it is coming from. And I'm not going to get into that on air because nobody wants to talk about that. So I'll just say this. Now, here's the funny part about this whole situation. If Trevor plays, he has to throw it 30-something times a game and run it 30-something times a game for us to have a chance at winning, right? But my question is, why not do that anyway? The problem is Luke is going to think to himself, oh, 30 times a game, I'm being forced to throw the ball 30 times a game. I can't just throw the ball deep or screens. This bipolar version of our passing game that we've seen for the past 11 weeks. I can't go deep every time, and I can't throw screens every time, right? So what else can I do? Oh, I know what I can do. What can you do, Luke? What possibly could you do? What on the route tree don't I call? Oh, here you go. This is what I can do other than what I've been doing. I can call these routes that you see X'd off right here that Luke hasn't run much this season. I can call this stuff right here too. Yeah, how about that? How about these top three? Give me about 5 to 10 of these and about 15 to 20 of these right here that you're seeing down here. There's your 15 to 20 right here, and then 10 up here. There's your 30 passes right there. That's what it should have been. That's what it should have been. That's what it should have been all this time. That's what it should have been all this time. My man Mike Abershart said, I don't think Trevor will be throwing much against that pass rush. If they don't throw the ball, if they don't hang it loose, man, then the Jets will probably blow us out because we can't come up to the line of scrimmage and run it. We can't come up to the line of scrimmage and run it 50 times a game. If that's the case, our defense is going to be on the field all day, and we already missing 2 guys. We're going to get blown out. Versus whoever this quarterback is. I'm glad it ain't Zach Wilson because if it was Zach Wilson, we would have stand a chance. I'm nervous about this other guy because he might come in and actually show us something. But we can't line up and just run it 50 times a game. He's going to have to throw it, even versus this pass rush. But again, to your point, Mike, and I'm not being, you know what I'm saying? I'm not being sarcastic or combative. But again, there's a difference between throwing these routes right here and what Luke has been doing. These routes right here, the pass rush doesn't matter. The routes you're seeing in red right here, the pass rush doesn't matter because those come off a 3-step drop. The ball should be gone like this right here. Watch Justin's drop. 3-step drop, ball gone, hitch up and throw it. The pass rush shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter at all. The ball should be gone. If he's doing that, like I said, 15 to 20 times a game, he should be okay. Yeah. Kenny says, I just want Justin studying up on Green Bay early. Kenny, you're not going to see. Justin is not. He's going to get a little bit more film. He's probably going to get a little bit more film package. But it's going to be the same film package he probably got for the game earlier in the year, plus a few more games. These are the few wrinkles they've made since we played them 5 or 6 weeks ago. It's not going to be that extensive. It's not going to be that much more different. And Green Bay doesn't play us any more different than any other team we played throughout the team. He's going to see a lot of single high safety, cover three match, some kind of combo coverages out there. But again, Luke has to throw the ball to the flat, 3-step drop, hitches, curls, outs, slants, and beat those coverages with quick, short West Coast passing game. That's just the bottom of the line. That's just the bottom line. Luke has a very bipolar passing system. He either calls the quick screen or he calls a deep pass that takes 5 and 7 yard drops and requires our offensive line to protect for 2.5 seconds, because the pass route combination, the distance is longer development. And Trent Dilfer talks about that. He's like, you can't afford to run these long developing pass route combinations that's going to take forever for it to run. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, I agree with this. Now, the draft position part of it, Ink, and I appreciate you saying that. That part of it is, but I don't think a lot of these games we're going to win anyway. So I'm thinking about just the reps, man. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. I think we're going to win a lot of these games because of the defense, right? So I don't think we're going to win these games anyway. Allow your boy, to go out there and get the reps. Because these games, because of that defense, we're not going to win anyway. But allow him to go out there and throw it 30 to 50 times a game. And I'm saying like this, right? You chalk it off. You know you're not good at pass protection, right? So you chalk it off. You say a certain percentage, a small percentage. You have like a triangle. A small percentage is my 5 or 7 step drop stuff, right? A long route combinations. The smaller portion of the triangle is my longer route combination, deep drop, 5 and 6 and 7 man protection, 5 and 6 drops, 5 and 6 step drops, route combinations. The middle piece are my 5. I'm sorry, not the majority. The middle piece is my 5 to 7 or my 5-yard drops, and the majority of my passing tree is 3-step drops. So if I'm gonna get 50 passes out there, 25 of them have to be off of 20 to 25 have to be off 3-step drops, right? Then you come back with another 10 off of 5-step drops, and then the top percentage, which is the smallest percentage, the tip of the spear is your deeper passes that come off of play action, your deep shots where your O-line doesn't have to protect longer, and you get Justin jacked up or Trevor jacked up. So if you picture a pyramid, right? The smaller portion of that's your play action. That's your 7-step drop play action deep stuff, right? But the middle portion of that is your 5-step drop, intermediate game. But the largest portion of your passing playbook is 3-step drop, hitches, digs, outs, comebacks, curls, slants, all that stuff. And you just getting the ball out. Balls out or run. Balls out or run. Right? And I'll add to that group as well is your quick screens, right? Your quick screens, your hitches, and stuff like that. You get that stuff out and you get the ball out of the quarterback's hands and let him play quarterback. I'll just say R&R in the chat. I'll just say we'll see R&R. I'll leave it out that. We'll see, right? Here's the thing, and I said this probably before you got on. Like, hopefully, my assumption is Luke doesn't have any choice but to throw the ball like this. But it'll piss me off because why do this now? Why do this now? And my pushback is this, right? My pushback is this, right? Okay, so I'm gonna question all this right here, right? Trevor's experience at what? Being an NFL quarterback or in this system? In this system, he's a new guy. Like I think fans don't understand it, right? Because somebody said this, and I'm not going to bring it up. But somebody said this, well, he's been in the league 10 years, and that allows him to be more anticipatory, right? It doesn't matter. In this system, he still has to know this system. It's a whole nother system. It's a route combinations, right, that they are both having to learn, right, and what those routes look like versus certain coverages. The one thing that becomes simple that you can do to make it simple is to say, hey, Trevor or Justin, listen, when you come up to the line of scrimmage, you see a cornerback playing 7 to 10 yards out, and you know pre-snap they're in cover 3, check to a quick hitch and just throw the quick hitch. That's keeping it simple. That's playbook agnostic. That's playbook agnostic. That's separate from the playbook. That's football universal. It's parking lot football, and that's what I think Luke struggles with. He struggles with, it's like, that's what Trent was saying. Trent was saying, listen, you can't overcoach the game. Listen, I want y'all to hear this playback because a lot of y'all weren't here when I played it. But this is what Trent is saying when he makes this comment. You can absolutely, he said it, whether you're in high school or whether you're in the pros, you absolutely can overcoach the game. And it won't play now. You can absolutely overcoach the game. Let me go get the video for you. Let me see if I can get the video again. Bring it in a second time. How about that? Boom. Be smarter than the technology, Coach D.
What'd you think of the play calling yesterday for Getsy?
Yeah, well, I didn't like it. I like him. Please differentiate the two. I really like him. I didn't like yesterday. I think all of us that call plays at whatever level fall into this trap. You get a new shiny toy that you really like, and you spend hours because, if we spend 48 hours game planning in high school, I'm guessing they're spending 60 hours game planning in the NFL. And you eat up you invest a lot. We call it expensive. It's, you invest a lot into the new shiny toy, and the new shiny toy is the quarterback-driven run game. Well, then you invest so much of that into game planning that it carries over into your practice plan. You only have so many plays you can script in a week for practice, and you end up wanting to put the stuff in that's really cool, new, sizzly, fun stuff. So you practice that all week, and you forget to run your toss play, 12 times during the week. You only run it 6, and you forget to run your outside zone play and your inside zone play, and you forget to run your counter play, and because you're running quarterback-driven runs, you don't pass, you don't throw it enough. Obviously, we talked about that last week. They're not throwing it enough in practice. And what happens is this new shiny toy, this new thing, hijacks your game plan. You get in the game, and you feel like you have to call it because you practice it so much.
Now, that's Trent Dilfer on 670 scoring again. Translation, you overcoach the game. Right? You get away from your core identity in your playbook, right? By the way, the trajectory that Luke was on prior to the Atlanta game, I was liking it. And I said prior to the Atlanta game, I want to see Luke come out and do what I'm asking for him to do right now. Well, because he didn't do that, I'm on his ass, right? I'm on his ass now because he didn't do it and it got my quarterback hurt. So I'm saying go back to your identity, right? Run all the concept that Trent just called out. Run your outside zone, run your inside zone, run your duo, run your toss sweep, run your jet sweep, run your counter play, right? Run your zone read, right? Run your quick screen. Even I'll add that to the mix, but also add the intermediate, the short game, the digs, the hitches, the outs, the slants, the digs, the hitches, the outs, the slants, the digs, the hitches, the outs, the slants. Run that. Say it with me. The digs, the hitches, the outs, the slants. In the red zone, run your picks and your rubs. Your picks and your rubs in the to-go situations. Run your picks and your rubs in the to-go situation. Perfect example was the Darnell Mooney touchdown. It was a rub route or a pick route. That's exactly where you run that play. And then also, when you do get into go-to-go situations, now you break out your quarterback design runs, because in that situation, it should be a one-play score, and it gives you a numbers advantage because usually the offense is not accounting for the quarterback, and that's not the core of your offense. So the way I describe it is like this, right? When I'm designing offense, I'm calling the plays. The way we use Judson is condiments. It's like, and everybody can appreciate that, having this be Thanksgiving weekend. You wouldn't sit down at your plate and eat a plate of ketchup or hot sauce or gravy. The first thing you go for on Thanksgiving is not the gravy or the hot sauce or the condiments. The first thing you go for is that meat, the turkey, the ham, right? The dressing, the mac and cheese, the greens. That's your identity. That's the identity of the plate, right? That's your run concepts. The identity is the short passing game. That's the identity. That's the core of your offense. The wrinkles are your design runs by your quarterback. So the condiments are zone read. Zone read is a condiment. I've been saying this for years in the coaching circles that I run in. It's not a mainstay. I don't understand for the word of why the coaching world likes to use zone read and RPO game as a mainstay of offense. It's not. It's a condiment, right? A condiment. Design quarterback rollouts, half field reads are condiments. You can't major on minors in offensive football. Half field reads. You can't throw. I just watched a high school game last night where a team lost in the playoffs, and they're coming up 3-by-1 or trips, right? 3-by-1, and every time they're in 3-by-1, they're going to go to half field read and roll the quarterback towards the 3. And every time, after a while, the defense picked up on it. They started blitzing the quarterback to the 3 side, blitzing the cornerback from the 3 side to cut that rollout off of. The sad part is the quarterback had the arm to throw it all over the field to all quadrants of the field. And that's Justin. Justin can throw the outs. He can throw the ball on the rope, sideline to sideline. He has a strong enough arm. So you have to take advantage of it. There's no need to do those half-field reads like that. There's no need. And if you're worried about offensive line protection, just take a 3-step drop. Bro, it's beyond me. But anyway, I don't even know how I got there. But that was my point. Right? So regardless, it has to be a situation where they break it up. Now, I want to talk about this because I saw the second comment, and I'm just trying to y'all know me. At heart, I'm a teacher, bro. So if I sound passionate, I'm just teaching. His pre-snaps read should be better also. Why? My question is, R&R, you my guy, bro. But why? Why would we say that? Why do we say that? Pre-snap reads are what they were. You're going SDL every time. Safeties, cornerback depth, leverage, center man in motion, read the play, and play ball. Every time. Count the number of safeties. See the cornerback depth and leverage. See the cornerback depth and leverage. Say, okay, if Luke adds motion, the motion is gonna reveal the coverage, right? So you see single high safety, corners playing off. They open up their hips. Their leverage is open like they're gonna bail, right? And they're 5 to 10 yards off. That's telling me cover 3. I send a man in motion, and nobody trails with the motion, man. That's straight up cover 3. I don't care what that other safety is. It's cover 3. You play ball. It's not rocket science. It is not. It's not. Now, processing all that in real time and game time is difficult because you got big uglies coming after you on the defensive line and blitz linebacker sometimes. That's what makes it difficult. Disguising coverages with the other safeties, that's what makes it difficult. But he says experience matters, does it not? But experience at what? Football or this offense? That's the question. We're talking about, I think y'all confusing experience at football. Okay, I'll give you a great analogy. I'll give you a great example. If experience matters that much, Russell Wilson should be lighting up the league right now. Why isn't Russell Wilson lighting up the league right now? He's been in the league longer than Justin. He switched teams and switched systems, right? And because he switched systems, he's suffering because he switched systems. But experience should matter, right? That's what I'm saying. That's a great comparison to me, because the challenge he's having is he had to learn. He went from speaking Spanish to having to learn Swahili now. It's a totally different language. Totally different language. And the only cure for that is reps. The only cure for that is reps. It is what it is, man. The only cure for that is reps. He said Justin never throws at the top of his raps, though. Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Exhibit A. If it's called, he throws the ball. If it's called, he throws the ball. Exhibit A. We don't call it. 3-step drop. Ball's out. You got to call it. Now the challenge is go back and look at how many times we call 3-step drops. How many times we call the quick out. How many times we call this stuff right here. That's why I came up with this graphic. We're not calling it. We don't call this stuff right here. I haven't seen a slant all season. And I might have turned my head once or twice, but I haven't seen a quick slant all season. I haven't seen a double slant. A double slant is easy. A double slant is stealing. I haven't seen an easy slant or a double slant all season. A double slant is stealing. The second man on the double slant is always going to be open. That's a coaching-ism. That's coaching 101. A double slant is going to be the second man on a double slant is always going to be open, because the first guy is going to clear out both his man in the corner and the safety, and the second man backside is always going to be open. That's a coaching-ism. You line up in ace right gun, ace left gun, right? 2 receivers to one side, the slot, right? You had a slot guy run a slant, the X and the slot run a slant. The backside guy, the outside guys will always be open every time. I will bet a paycheck on it. We haven't seen it. That's what I'm talking. Luke, that's what I'm on. Luke does not call it. That's why I'm on his ass, because he got the quarterback, Kurt, because he's not taking the quick passing game, and he's going away from his passing game. Now, I'm going to tell y'all what's going to happen. And this is what usually happens on Bears Twitter and Bears social media, and it's fine because we family. What happens is usually 2 to 3 weeks later, everybody will catch up to what I'm saying, and they'll be like, oh, shit, this is a thing. I'm telling you, Luke, that's why I'm on him tomorrow. I'm going to watch the games explicitly, regardless of who plays, because I want to see what type of passes he calls. Because if he calls those deep routes, those long setup passes off play action or otherwise, he's going to get this kid killed. We're seeing young general manager coaching, blah, blah, blah. Let me see. Staff doing some good and bad things expected, but I don't want to be talking about the same things next year. That's my point, Bear Truth. That's exactly my point. I'm saying with the season pretty much a wash, we're already talking about the draft. Somebody asked a draft question, by the way. I want to answer your question real fast. I say we go defense initially, but at the same time, I like Ryan Poles' philosophy. Stack your board, take the best player. But please go defense, particularly up front, particularly Carter or the dude from up the street up here from Dutchtown. What's his name? Will Anderson at Alabama. He's from a local high school right around here. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, Bear Truth. We playing with house money. Throw it 30 to 50 times a game, short pitch. That's why I said the greater percentage of your passes is this stuff right here. Throw it 30 to 50 times a game and let the greatest percentage of your passes be this stuff right here. 25 of them has to be the stuff marked in red. Stealing. Force them to come up. Force them to play tight. Force them to play man coverage because of this. And then you go back and you go with the double move and you go over top of their head, right? Then you go over top of their head to play action. You know what I'm saying? You got to set stuff up. That's what I'm talking about. We have nothing. We have nothing to lose. You playing with house money. Ball out, kid. I like Luke, but I'm telling y'all, coach is on his ass. I'm on him. Shout out to my boo thing up in the chat. All right, listen, we got to get on with this because I don't want to be on here all night. I want to say something about Alan Williams before I get out of here. It's the same thing. It's the same approach, but I wanted to talk about Alan Williams as well. If y'all haven't already, by the way, do me a favor. Run those likes up, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I got to get my algorithm back up, man, because I was getting and I don't really sweat the views and all that other stuff, but it's nice to see. Right? It's nice to see. I don't really sweat the views, but it's nice to see. Y'all help me out, man. Comment as much as possible and run those likes up. I was getting 1,000 plus views prior to me taking a break, and now my views are down to 200 a video. I'm trying to get the algorithm back going. So I'm going to be doing shows on Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Tuesday's show is going to be a reactionary show to the game. I'm going to be talking about and giving you all my instant reactions to the show. I might have some film cut up off of the game to point out the things that I'm talking about now. Thursday, I'm getting more in depth with the X's and O's and game planning. I'll bring up Coach T's playbook and I'll break it down. I will even draft up plays on how we could do it better, right? And then Saturday, I'll give y'all the prep for the next game. So if y'all want that cycle, I think I found the formula. Tuesday is post-game reaction. Thursday is extensive breakdowns, drafting up plays like real football nerd stuff. And the Saturday shows like today will be prep for the next week, right? But let me talk about Alan Williams before I get out of here. Then I'll let y'all get back to y'all families. Listen, the same way I'm talking about Luke Getsy is the same take I have for Alan Williams. It's time for Alan to dial it up. Alan Williams, you have nothing to lose, my guy. You have nothing to lose. You know the defensive line is not generating pressure. You know they're not getting home. You're leaving these cornerbacks on the island to play coverage all day. Quarterbacks, whether they are 10-year vet or a rookie or whoever, can sit back and pick us apart. So I'm saying, Alan, show us the same way I'm saying Luke has to show us his short game package. Alan, why not put your blitz package on display? Let us see what you got. cornerback blitzes, linebacker blitzes, safety blitzes, go crazy, zone blitzes. I would go crazy. I would go mad. I'd be like, okay, we got nothing to lose. I'm finna pull out all my tricks. I'm finna start lighting quarterbacks up from every angle because I have nothing to lose. And what happens? You get burnt and lose the game, so what? We get a higher draft position. Who cares? Does anybody in the chat care? Please let me know if you care. Yeah, we'll be critical of it. Listen, I would rather see, like Bear Truth 9 say, I'd rather see what we got going. I'm more concerned. Watch this. What do we know? Oh, I got one for you. A hot take. Oh, a hot statement. And I think I'm doing something right here when I say this, right? What do we know? We know we got a quarterback, right? We know we got 8 picks and 130 plus mil in cap. So we should have a good football team next year, right? So if just hypotheticals, we go out and get every player and fill every need on the football teams in terms of personnel. We go out there and we do all that, right? We go out there and do all that. We hit on every pick. We do well with free agents with the 130 plus million, right? What would be you guys' question going into the season? What would be the only question mark besides can these guys play? Assuming they can play and they can ball out, what would be the only remaining question not? Luke and Allen? Luke and Allen would be our only question marks. So, guys, go out there and put it on the film. Show us what you got. Because we can have the right players, but if they don't show that they can scheme up stuff and put people in the right positions, we're still going to have question marks. And we're still going to be in the same boat. That's the situation. So I'd rather them ball out. I'd rather them you don't have to do it for a whole game, Alan Williams. Show us something for a half. Show us the first half. Show us at the end of the game. Show us at the end of a quarter, 2-minute scenario. Show us at the end of quarters, end of halves, end of game, end of half. That you know how to dial up blitzes and pressure that can get to the quarterback and smack people and put quarterbacks on their back. And you know how to manufacture pressure when your front four can't just get there on their own. And we're good. Coach the daggum football game. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That would be my coach. That would be my question mark. Even if we had, listen, I said if we shored up everything, O-line, every position group, running back, wide receiver, and we went in and we felt like we had dogs at all 3 levels on both offense and defense, I would still say going into the season, I'd be like, dang, well, Luke ain't even showed us he can call the short intermediate passing game yet. I still haven't seen Alan Williams do anything special as a coordinator. I seen him make late adjustments. I seen him slant guys at the wrong time on the defensive line, slant and twist and stunt at the wrong times. I've seen very little magic, genius, if you will. Like, where I was like, dang. Yeah. Like the coach, you're right. Like this young coaching staff, and I'm not going crazy about them right now. But I'm telling you, if we keep on this trajectory going into next, we need to take, how many weeks we got left, guys? The rest of the season should be they should leave no doubt to Bears fans. We're going to be okay. Because guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? Those coordinators get fired before Flu does. Those coordinators get fired before Ryan Poles does. The coordinators are going to get potentially fired before the next set of players get released or let go. We got tomorrow, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. You got 6 weeks, coordinators, to show us something. Because if we have a great draft, again, if we have a great draft and we fill every need on this football team, everybody's question is still going to be, what do we have in terms of coordinators? This is a coach's show. I make it about the coaching, the X's and O's. I tell you all the time, this is the difference between Chicago Bears 360, what we do here, and the rest of Bears DIY media. We don't just criticize it. I'll come back on Thursdays. If you want, y'all can come in the comments and say, draft up what you talking about. I don't know what you're talking about right there. What cover 2 beaters you got, Coach? What cover 3 beaters you got? Right? What run concepts you got? No problem. I can take you right here on the handy dandy laptop. We draft it up for you. We keep the ball moving. That's it for tonight, man. Listen, always great talking to y'all. Do me a favor. One last push for them likes. I need them likes, bro. I need them likes really bad. I know I sound like I'm begging. I am. No shame. I need them likes. Run them likes up, man. I know these long form contact shows like this, like how we do it, hour plus hour and a half, it's not sexy for YouTube. But listen, you can't talk about football the way we talk about in depth and not have a long format show. So it is what it is. Don't always look for you guys to agree with me, but I love the questions that you ask on the show. It always leads to us thinking about something. Again, at the end of the day, I'm a teacher at heart. I love teaching the game, love the game of football. And by the way, shout out to my wife. She's in the chat, who just signed off on me going back to the sidelines potentially next season. Love you, babe. I appreciate that. Hopefully I can go ahead and go out here and land me a gig and do what I love doing. And y'all, we can talk about something else. All right, man. Love you guys, man. I appreciate it. As always, I appreciate you. We're going to get, hopefully we see something miraculous tomorrow, but I just want to see some competent, really good football. I'll leave y'all with a prediction. It's going to be an unrealistic one, but I'm going to leave it anyway. I'm going to go on a whim and says, listen, Justin comes out of the tunnel like, what's his name? Willis Reed. Let me see. Let me use the internet right here. Who's the guy? Who was the guy in New York that came out of the tunnel after injury in basketball? You know what I'm saying? Willis Reed. Listen, that's what the internet is loving for. Justin comes out of the tunnel like Willis Reed in New York Knicks and leads us to a 28-14 victory, over 250 yards passing, 50 yards rushing for the dub, upsetting New York. The thing of legends, right? The legend is born in Chicago. Justin Fields, the equivalent to the Michael Jordan flu game. The legend of Justin Fields starts to build and continue. That's going to be my crazy prediction for tomorrow. Coach Flu was playing gamesmanship games by all this Peterman up from the practice squad stuff. Justin comes out, warms up, and goes out there and lights up the New York Jets defense. 28-14. Bears fans go crazy. Social media goes crazy. The national media goes crazy. And we have crazy takes and all kinds of stuff happen. Just mass hysteria. That's my crazy prediction for tomorrow. Thanks for joining Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T. I appreciate all my field soldiers. We'll see y'all next time. We out. Peace and bear down.